Hello and welcome to another episode of Roundtable Podracers. As always, we have Anna and Julie,
Hey.
and today we're talking Mando Season 2, Episode 1, The Marshal.
Yay. I really like that they kept to the titles of the episode. So, like, it's chapter 9. It's not like the Marshal, it's just chapter. I like that a lot. I noticed
Yeah,
that, like, before I even clicked on the episode, I was like, ooh, okay.
yeah, I noticed that right away. I'm like, okay, it's not Episode 1 or Chapter 1, it's Chapter 9. And yeah, I like
Mm-hmm.
that. It's just a big fairy tale with a whole bunch of different chapters, and they just keep it going.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It also
it's
leaves it, like, kind of mysterious because you won't know the name of the episode until you, like, start it.
Right, exactly.
but it was so good. I mean, there's so many things to talk about, and I kept remembering you, Alexis, in the episode because
Mm-hmm.
from our last video, you called it with. Well, we'll get to it, but
Yeah. I feel
yeah,
like you called that, like, episodes and episodes ago.
I know, and now I'm like, because I have the book and I haven't read it, and I keep reading other books before Aftermath, and I'm like, damn it, you know what? I need to stop. I need to read it and kind of catch up because that was so good. But okay, let's go back to the beginning.
In the
Back
beginning,
to the beginning.
yeah, so we see right off the bat Mando and the child, in his little pram walking along in a cool kind of urban planet. The shot that you see is like a little bit kind of like desert plain, but then as you keeps walking into the city, you see all these different buildings. Very Lothal.
Yeah.
I was kind of
That's what I said last time.
That's what I was going to say, that was the Lothal place we thought it was, but we never really had the confirmation.
No, and
and
actually,
it's not.
I don't think it is confirmed either what that planet is. It just says like urban metropolis or something like that. So who knows where this is? But yeah, very cool. And he's walking through, and then you see these I guess beasts. I don't even know what those are either. Probably Gundarks or something, but yeah, these hounds that are just with their red eyes watching the Mandalorian walk through the city.
Yeah. And the cool graffitis too.
Yeah, the
Like
graffiti.
I don't know if you guys watched the virtual red carpet, but they were talking about the artist that created those graffitis, that he came on board and kind of did that, and I was kind of pausing after for my second rewatch and there was a lot of like clone heads over there, and the C-3PO that we had seen in the trailer and some other creatures that are familiar to us.
Do you think that the graffiti there was like kind of like an Easter egg / foreshadowing for Sabine?
Sabine?
Yeah.
The thing for me is that, and obviously I probably watched Rebels like 1,000 times. It didn't look so like Sabine's art. But it did look like Sabine's colors. Like there was very colorful. I think that it might be like, oh, think about Sabine, or maybe like her followers,
right.
or like something, maybe not necessarily her.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like, I don't think she's the one who like did the art in the canon world, but I feel like maybe it was the showrunners like idea to like start getting the feeling of it all in our heads.
And now I want like graph that wall in like part of my office.
I didn't get the Sabine. I mean, now that you bring it up, it can kind of connect in a cool kind of meta way. But I think the graffiti is just kind of showing maybe like the lawlessness of like post-Empire galaxy. I think even had like X's on some stormtroopers' heads and things like that. So I think it's kind of like just like, all the anarchists are out now, and maybe it really is kind of like a lawless planet because of the Empire. But that'd be really cool. That'd be really cool if it was like a nod to Sabine and stuff. But no, I don't think so.
Yeah, and then we go into this amazing battle fight.
Yeah, gladiator arena kind of deal going on. You get Gore Koresh.
Who is John Leguizamo?
Yeah. Actually, I found that out today.
Which was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, they distorted
really cool.
his voice a lot because I did not recognize it. When I noticed it was him, I was like, wait a second. I went back and I was like, no, that does not. Like, so they did a bunch of stuff to his voice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Has his name popped up in the Star Wars universe elsewhere? Because I kept hearing it every time they said it, and I was like, this name is super familiar to me, but I don't know if it's just me or if it's something else.
I don't think so. The alien race itself, we did see in A New Hope.
Right.
I mean, obviously not as cool as this one. This one has like eye moves and like the mouth moves and everything.
Yeah.
But I don't think I don't think he's in any other. At least not that I know of.
Okay.
Look, it looked like a lot of the aliens in this fight were from Jabba's palace. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of people that we see in the background from Jabba's palace, and it kind of gave it that view. I like that forgot the guy's name. The eye, I don't know if you noticed, but and I'm going a little bit ahead, but when he's up hanging him, his eye looks more like a Sith eye that becomes red. And I was like, wait, did that happen? It was me because I want to make everything a Sith. But it was like red, so I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. It's a cool detail there.
That's interesting. Okay.
I didn't catch that myself, but that would be awesome. I feel like I need to watch it again, just that scene, and see if he is. But I feel like if he would have been like Sith or had the Force, he would have probably like Force pushed.
No, I'm not. Yeah, I don't think he's a Sith or anything like that. But like, I have to take a picture because when I saw that, his eye was, and obviously, anatomically speaking, it would make sense that the eye would become red because he's like hanging from his feet.
Right.
So it could be also that, and it's only one eye, so it's like red.
It happens quicker or something. Yeah. That whole scene, like that whole segment was just really interesting. And I love the fact that like, it did feel like Jabba's palace. Like it had the same vibe, and it's cool to know like Jabba died. So all his like little following and like the scummy people all like found a new little area to be.
Yeah, for me, this whole segment and the episode as kind of a whole was a lot of paying tribute or nods to Return of the Jedi. Mm-hmm. Something that we see obviously later on definitely is a big one, but this as well is like, all right, there's entertainment, there's a mob boss, there's these bodyguards, and they're doing business, kind of shady business and stuff like that, which it was kind of cool to kind of hear Gor Koresh talk about it a little bit more, how he's hunting Mandalorians for their Beskar armor. Again, just kind of playing into the whole, like chaos. Everyone's being hunted. There's nowhere that's safe, and even the armor you wear, it can be a prize for someone.
Mm-hmm. And also there was the male Twi'lek in front of the door, which is like another nod to like the whole like Jabba's palace thing between like his male Twi'lek and the Twi'lek dancers and everything. Yeah. So I thought that was really neat.
Yeah, and the cool part was also like the action. When that it started a little bit with the comedy of like he's engaging or turning on his hummingbirds, his flying birds.
I think it's whistling birds.
Whistling birds, and Baby Yoda, the child, it's like, nope.
Yeah, definitely.
That was cool. And then he was fighting the same race, which I always forget because I'm bad with alien names, as Darth Maul. That alien.
Zabrak.
Yes. I like that it was also like how we seen it in the cartoons in Rebels, that he has like no shirt, kind of like all like
rugged.
Yeah. That was pretty cool, and how he like stabs him with that knife that we had seen before as well. That all that action scene was pretty cool. And then they had the song was kind of like the theme, but like slowed down in that part, and I was like, perfect. Well, let's keep that like Western action, cowboys, everything in here.
Yeah, that whole I just kind of wanted to touch upon the choreography a little bit. It was awesome. Like the fact that it just starts off with the whistling birds, like just kicks it into this high gear, and then I kind of liked how the Gamorrean like jumped. He tried to jump from behind in the ring. He tried to jump on top of the Mandalorian, kind of like a wrestling move. I was like, this is awesome. You know, and then that same Twi'lek from the bouncer Twi'lek, he gets his head hit in by the helmet, and then how Mando uses his helmet to hit the guy's like wrist or punch, and then and then top it off with this. It's funny because I actually was two Zebraki that were in that fight. There was one that gets stabbed with the knife
at the end, right?
And then right, he gets stabbed with the knife, and then Mando takes that knife and then throws it to the other Zabrak.
Oh, okay,
which is the one that ends up falling all slow and stuff. So, and then ending up with Gor Koresh being tied up like freaking. I don't know.
But the cool thing about this, like, he did not kill him at first, and I feel like was like showing us like a character development for Mando, because it wasn't like his usual like, oh, you're dead. Like it looked like in this episode in general, he was more caring and more like determined, but more caring. Like he wasn't just killing, and then what we see in the next scene with like the droids, I feel like there was a little bit of a character development for Mando.
He softened a little bit.
Yeah.
Even though he still let the guy die, but whatever.
But it wasn't like, you know, like let the hounds kill you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna take that kill.
Right. And we were right about it being more of like an intimidation tactic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. I'm kind of half with you on the whole softening thing. I mean, we do see it, even Cobb Vanth mentions it later on. But with Gor Koresh, I mean, he still let him die, and the reason why he kept him alive just was for the information. And he needed to know where this Mando was. I mean, if he killed him before then in the whole choreography, like he just lost his own lead. But I did catch on the right at the first viewing of him saying, "I promise you will not die by my hand."
I loved that.
And I
was
right
like,
away,
I fucking know he's gonna kill him.
Right away, I'm like, he's gonna do something else, like, you know, whatever. But yeah, that whole sequence just was awesome.
Yeah. And then we go back to Tatooine. I mean, I feel like we just left it, and now let's go back. And I love that he goes back to the same bay with that lady. I'm off with all the names, but she's super cool. I like her character. She's like a little quirky, and
she reminds me of like
Kelly Motto.
Yeah.
Kelly Motto.
She really reminds me of like an 80s movie character.
Yes.
Like not only her appearance, but her personality, that it's like loud and eccentric and like super, I don't even know like what words to describe it.
She's like feisty.
She's like super feisty. And I think she's very like, it just reminded me of like not Return of the Jedi, but like another 80s movie that I would have seen around the same time as that.
Yeah, no, and we see him, and she's already asking for the child right away. That was super cute. And then her also being like, "Oh no, droids, you guys know that he doesn't like that," and he's just like, let them have it. Like it also shows like I've already been there. Like I've dealt with my issues with droids. A droid saved my life. Let's do it.
And so that's why I said I think like the heart is softening just a little bit, because that scene, like that's when I felt it more than the other scene beforehand.
But then we get to see one of my favorite droids, and I was so happy.
Yes, I screamed.
So happy with R5.
R5.
Yes.
He lives.
Yes.
I was so happy. I was like, oh my God, he's alive.
I was so excited. And the fact, well, I don't know if you guys watch like the making of Mandalorian, that show that they had. I loved it because it kind of gives you like, I totally recommend it. It kind of gives you insights of all the episodes. And one of them was when we see R5 kind of like in the background at the bar. And I loved it because Dave Filoni was like, well, he has a bad motivator, something.
Bad motivator,
yeah. And that's one of the reasons why I told you guys, we should totally discuss a certain point of view, because I personally loved his story in a certain point of view, because he kind of sacrifices himself for R2.
Right.
So I loved it, and him coming back, and he has like that patch, like where that moderator was, and I thought it was amazing. I was like, yes, I have this is one of my favorite pops, one of my favorite droids. I was like, oh yeah, it's so cool.
And then he's still like slow and stuff, and she was like yelling at him to like, come on, like I don't have all day. So it like kind of shows that he's still like not like perfect. And I love him. I was so happy.
Yeah.
There was one thing I wanted to mention about Peli Moto that before she brings out R5, like Mando asks her like, oh, but where is this? And then she goes, depends who's asking. Like she has that feistiness you were mentioning. But it was weird for her to act, like this episode was near perfect, but for certain little nitpicky things, and that to me was one of them. It's like you know him, you know who this guy is, like you know he's not gonna be asking for someone else. Like to say like who depends who's asking, like it was almost like a little bit of a playfulness, but then she immediately like brings over R5 like. It was just a little bit weird. You guys didn't see like any like weird stuff with her or like that interaction?
I feel like she said that, but like she also mentioned like depends who asking, and I'm gonna tell you. But if somebody else would have asked me, I wouldn't have said it because my theory was that maybe if she is from there, and that she's kind of protecting it to kind of like that's why I'm saying this, because I'm going to tell you to not tell anybody, but I would normally won't say because it's, and her map has it like it's not there.
Right.
The holograms. That's how I view it.
I kind of viewed it the same. Like I didn't see it as like her being conniving or anything like that. I found it more like saying like depends who's asking, as in not everybody knows and not everybody should know, but I know you, so here it is. But like it's kind of like a telling him in less words that like this place needs to be protected because of like such and such and such.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely got that vibe as well. It's just as weird because like you would say that to someone you don't know, like to someone you've never seen before. Like depends who's asking, like basically saying like who are you? But yeah, this I don't know. It was just a weird way to take like a common phrase and just kind of use it in a different way. But anyways, I don't want to get hung up on that. So Mos Pelgo, the map was actually really cool because it's like I've never seen a map like that, like in Star Wars. Like the holograms always use like blue, or something like
and
that.
this is like the
gold,
planning.
It's like a gold, brown. So it's like it was nice little touch to make that into a different color.
It reminded me of like a video game.
Yeah,
a lot. Like I feel like I've seen that in some of the old Star Wars video games. So maybe from that
thing or something.
Yeah. No, that was pretty cool.
So Mos Pelgo.
Yes.
Off to Mos Pelgo.
So we get there, and I feel like the whole Western movie started again, which was pretty cool. And we see Mando going inside this bar where we see one of the species of Hondo.
The Weequay.
Yeah. I'm not gonna remember all the alien.
He looked very different from a Weequay. I actually didn't even realize he was one.
But it's
until like that he was the same as Hondo. Like I didn't.
Right.
But for me, it was cool to kind of like, okay, he looks like it, but a little bit older. And then I noticed like his, like a thing on his chin had grown, and the things on his head were way grown. And then I started looking at Hondo, how we saw him in Clone Wars compared to Rebels, and even compared to Batu. In Batu, his things are super long. So it's kind of like also shows you the age of the creature. I thought that was a pretty cool
nice
detail.
I actually didn't catch that. Like I noticed that it was long, but I didn't know what it was in like relation to like the Weequay that we see in the Clone Wars and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I would assume it is longer hair, like you're older.
Yeah.
That also brings me to mind of something else that's actually a good point, because we don't really see how aliens age in Star Wars. Like,
well, the Torgudas have the same thing.
Right. But it's only a few that we see really that grow. Like another one that kind of reminds me of that kind of line of thought is Battlefront 2. the Resurrection campaign, which kind of goes into like post or before the Force Awakens and stuff. You see an alien in that part that I forgot what they're called. The name escapes me. But they have the same race that Ponda Baba is with the weird eyes and stuff. This particular alien in the campaign for Battlefront 2. So instead of having the two eyes there, she also has two eyes down here. So in the first part of that campaign, which is the Galactic Civil War, she only has the two, and then later on, when you see her in the pre-TFA stuff, she has the subsequent eyes. So it's kind of ties back to what you're saying about the Weequay. It's really cool to see them kind of pay a little bit more attention to these aliens and like to kind of show that there is a little bit of change or evolution when it comes to the aliens. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it was weird. Like I saw the Weequay and he calls them Weequay. It's like, oh, come on. Y'all couldn't just give him another name and instead of just calling him Weequay. Like I know this caters to like a lot of the casual fans and stuff, but it's like, come on, give him a name, like something.
Yeah, I think that's also... Go ahead, Anna. I'll say it after.
I feel like that was also, in a way, calling him like bro. Like, you know, like that's how I viewed it. I was like, look, this is a little fan service for those people that know exactly how you've seen him and kind of like love, because I love Hondo. He's one of my favorites. Mm-hmm. But I felt it like it was like that. Like calling him bro.
Go ahead.
I don't know. Go.
I was gonna say, I feel like it was very like Western. Like in the Western movies, you don't hear them say the bartender's name. They say like, barkeep, get me a drink. Barkeep, close the door.
Is true.
Okay, I can see that.
Very Westerny, calling people by their jobs or like their titles in the towns rather than their names.
Because the whole thing was super Western, and then Mr. Cobb shows up with like, I want to make that Boba Fett because he's skinny and like long, and I'm like, I can do that. So I loved it. I've seen people that have hated. I've seen some people from Mando mercs kind of depicting the whole armor. I'm here for it. I loved it. I loved that it was like, dude, we saw him last getting eaten. Like, I don't expect that armor to be shiny and to be anything. So I love what they did to the armor, and I love that it also is like I don't see the value of this armor, but it kind of let me survive, so I'm just gonna do it however.
Yeah.
I thought that for me was super cool. And then it reminded me when he took off his helmet, it reminded me of Deadwood because it's him and the same bartender. So, and then seeing Baby Yoda with the spit thingy.
Yeah.
Vodka.
Yes. I was like, oh, this is so cool. How, like, this is literally space cowboys. Like, you can't get more space cowboy than that. Even like him putting his helmet down. And Mando's like, what are you doing? But I'm going ahead, so I'll let you guys talk. Get too excited.
So I am been looking forward to this for a while. Cobb Vanth, if you may or may not know, is not new to the Star Wars universe. He first appeared in the Aftermath trilogy of books. In that book, he wasn't really a main character or anything. It was just like basically a B plot. And you would go to this guy named Cobb Vanth, who was a slave on Tatooine. He even says it in the show. He's been living on Tatooine all his life. He was a slave, and he pretty much escaped being a slave. He also fought the Red Raiders, very similar to the mining business thing that happened in this episode. The mining guild kind of taking over. This also happened a year prior with these Red Raiders. Basically, these Red Raiders are this bandit group of gang that tried to take over Jabba's kind of empire. They're basically, So in that book, you kind of follow along with him finding the armor, if you will, which obviously the episode goes into, but it's really cool to see how the episode brings to life what you've already read in the book. And in the book, you always got the sense of this is a cowboy guy, being a sheriff, donning the armor of Boba Fett and taking care of Tatooine. So I knew right away with the episode, the Marshal, I knew that this was going to be the character that we're going to meet. But it was really cool to see Timothy Olyphant. I mean, awesome actor. I'm a fan of his stuff. I mean, you mentioned Deadwood.
The Office, because I love his character in The Office.
Oh,
David
he's in The Office too?
Yes!
Wow,
David, that Mike is like, do you want your life better, same, or worse? And I love those David Carradine.
Yeah, I didn't catch that, but yeah, this whole I was like giddy. I was like, oh my god, like he's wearing his armor. We're seeing it, and yeah, someone mentioned it in the Zoom party that I was in. They're like skinny Boba. Because he did look different, like you could tell.
He was like a stick.
He
was super skinny.
The whole interaction, like you're saying, Anna, is we're gonna do this in front of the kid, like putting the helmet down, like pulling up a table, like it was awesome. I really liked this interaction.
You could tell by.
Sorry.
You could go. Okay. I was gonna say you could tell he was very like chivalrous within the first like few moments of meeting him, which I wasn't expecting based on the descriptions. I kind of imagined him to be kind of like a little sleazeball who just like wanted to take the Boba Fett armor and like use it to his advantage, which he did, but like in a much better way than I expected him to do. So I fell in love with him within like 5 seconds of meeting him. I was like, he's great. I love him.
He's great. I love that this is so Star Wars that he puts his helmet down and his hair is perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a hot man. So he was just like, yes, thank you. You can, like a Poe Dameron moment.
You can thank the assistant for that one. The hairdressing assistant right there.
Whoever. But then it's cool because we get the rumbling and the shake from the sand dragon. Forgot his name.
The Krayt Dragon.
Krayt Dragon. I was like, it's something dragon. Which is kind of grossed me out that the child went into the spit thingy. I was like, but whatever.
I didn't even think about that. You're so pale.
I was like, because I hate those things. But it's cool because they kind of use the same the sounds and the same line from like, oh, a storm is coming, blah 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 blah. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. When I saw it rumbling in the ground, I like immediately was like, is this a sand shark? Because I played Jedi
Fallen Order?
No, one of the older ones. Jedi Knight Academy? Jedi Outcast. And there was a mission on Tatooine, and they weren't sand sharks, but they were very similar to it, where you had to like jump around on different space parts. Because the moment you touched the sand, like it could feel your vibrations and it would come and grab you. So it kind of like gave me those vibes, and then the way like the sand was like moving and shaking, and I was like, oh my god, this is so cool, I'm so excited.
That's actually really cool. I didn't know that myself. I didn't know that there was a sand shark, because I was actually going to make a joke that when I saw it, I'm like, oh, the sand sharks are a thing now in Star Wars. Like, which we can kind of get into the Krayt Dragon.
But there's one similar in Rebels.
Yeah.
When we meet Rex, they're trying to catch this creature that also comes out of the sand.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a Krayt Dragon or whatever it's called.
Right.
But that's what I thought it was.
Okay.
When I was like, oh, maybe it's one of those. But yeah.
Now that you mention, I do remember that. But definitely Tremor vibes in this sequence.
And Alexis, you read Dooku, right? Jedi Lost?
Yes.
The Krayt Dragon is the one that he keeps hearing that eventually makes him turn into a Sith.
It's I don't necessarily know if it's a dragon. It's a dragon of some kind, like the way they describe it in the book.
I looked it up right now.
Oh, it is an actual Krayt Dragon?
Yeah.
Oh man, because I heard it audiobook, They made it sound like definitely a dragon, but I don't remember.
They didn't make it sound like a crate dragon. Yeah, I totally agree with you.
But yeah, that's really cool. That's awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
That's yeah.
But it's also cool like that. Before that, it's kind of like the standout like of Cobb and Mando. Like, oh, we're gonna do this. Wait, let's figure this thing out before
Bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, and this is when we see beautiful Sam Witwer. I was like, I noticed on my second one because I was kind of like pausing a little bit more. Plus, I wanted to see that Boba Fett armor, and I noticed, and I was like, oh my god, that's so cool. So yeah, Mr. Sam Witwer appears like one of the people in the town.
I didn't notice. I saw him and I was like, that guy looks familiar, and then I just kept like watching the episode.
Yeah, me neither. I didn't catch it.
And there's also an homage to Leia because there's a girl that's dressed with like Leia with the buns, and I was like, oh, that is sweet.
For a minute, I thought it was her, and I was like, what timeline are we in?
Yeah. You said it. That was probably the when they were panning to like the extras. That was the one that stood out the most. I'm like, is that a Leia? And it actually looks like it's the Leia from the Marvel Star Wars comic line.
I know what you're talking about.
Where she kind of rocks the braid, but then she has like a long dress, and then with the silver, like the silver belt. It looks straight up like a Leia cosplayer.
And then for those who don't know, Sam is Darth Maul in Clone Wars and Rebels. Yeah,
Star Killer in the Force Unleashed, if you will.
Which we never mentioned that we were going to talk about the episode. Spoilers, but I'm sorry.
Oops. I mean, whatever. You have to expect that, right?
Yeah. And actually, another one that stood out to me was there was this girl fixing like a scooter bike or something.
Oh yeah.
And she reminded me of the Ahsoka episodes in the new season.
Okay.
One of the
Trace.
The something sisters.
Right.
The Martez?
The Martez sister. Trace she reminded me. Trace and Ron.
I was just looking it up the other day. Oh my god.
I forgot. I'm so bad with names. She reminded me of one of those. But it was pretty cool.
Which I wanted to mention, like, okay, I know everything had to happen. Obviously, it was written out, but like, I feel like if like it was like real, like the Mando wouldn't even like care about teaming up with him to take on this great dragon. Like, I feel like he would have fought him like in the bar. Kind
of been like, that's your problem.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm gonna.
But this is why I'm saying there's a character development.
Yeah,
because if it would have been the old Mando, it would have been like, screw you. You're not even like. Clearly, you're not a Mandalorian.
Right,
you took off your helmet right away.
Yeah.
You're disrespectful. Yeah. Like, I don't care. And this is why I feel like there's also a character development with him. It's like, I'm gonna negotiate and I'm gonna be polite about how you want to do this transaction.
Right. I also feel like he's a bounty hunter, so, you know, it's kind of like do a job, get reward. And I feel like that's probably how he saw this. Like, I do the job, I get the reward, no bloodshed. And, you know, the Mando has, like, a sense for people, so he probably sensed that, like, he was, like, not a horrible guy. Right. So he was like, all right, sure, whatever.
Yeah. But then they team up, and then we see the scooter. And then we see
the bigger scooter.
The best one, which is parts of a pod racer. Like a pod racer. Which I'm a little pod racing.
Or the pod racers. So there you go.
I was so excited. It looks exactly like the one that Anakin had, but I dig deep and it's not.
Yeah, but it looked like one half of Anakin's.
Yeah.
Like, it was refurbished.
Yeah. Just one of the pods.
Yeah. But it's pretty much kind of like the same place where Anakin got his parts and
this episode, I mean, there's a lot more examples later on, but this episode was just an homage to Tatooine and all eras of Tatooine.
I love Tatooine. So.
It wasn't just only the OT trilogy Tatooine, but it was like, you know, prequel like Tatooine in there, you know, with the pit droids, the pod racing thing, It's just, I love it.
The
just
landscape,
love it.
everything, and even bringing back, because after this we see Olive Cobb's story, and Olive Cobb's story is also an homage to everything, because we see the Jawas and we see the sand. My God, I'm so
sand
bad
rover or whatever.
The ship. And then we see the ice cream bucket. And then he's on the inside and trying to figure out what they want to get. And then we see one of my favorites, the C-3PO head, which is like one of the Robert McQuarrie's, which I love his art. Like, I want his Darth Vader. I've been trying to find that art.
Wait, I got something for you. I got an original. I'm gonna show you right now. 1 second.
Okay. But I thought that was cool, and because what is it? Oh, nice. So you have it signed.
This is exactly. It's an original. Still, I mean, it's a copy or whatever of the training scene from Empire Strikes Back, and there it is.
That's so cool.
Initialed by the man himself.
Wow.
Nice,
Ralph McQuarrie.
nice.
Yeah, and it's really cool because because the people I got it from, it was at a con, and apparently they knew him. The people that were selling this, they knew him personally, Ralph McQuarrie, and I was a little skeptical, right? Because anyone can just write a Sharpie with 3 letters. So I was like, look, be real. Is this really for real? And like the guy started talking to me for like 10-15 minutes, and he started tearing up because of how he missed Ralph, he missed Mr. McQuarrie, and it was like you could tell that he really is. It was like no BS. Like it was like a real thing. So
nice.
That's my Ralph McQuarrie story.
That's so cool. No, his art is pretty cool, and it's so distinguished. Like, you can tell when it's one of his pieces. It has that modernism, but like, it's pretty cool. I loved it.
Yeah.
But we see
you guys saw the Womp Rats? There was a couple of Womp Rats in there.
The little Womp Rats. They were so cool.
They were so cute.
Yeah. So we see his story, and then
Cobb's story.
Cobb's backstory, and then they get to like the caves where we see the little dog. What's his name?
You mean the Tusken Raider camp?
No, before that, they get to the cave.
The puppies.
The growling dogs that are
right. They're called massives.
Massives? Okay.
Yeah, massives with an F. I think it's a play on world mastiff.
Yeah, like a grand mastiff. A mastiff, yeah.
Mastiff, yeah. Big dogs. So yeah, they Star Wars history of taking names and just kind of putting them in Star Wars.
I love them.
Yeah, that was really cool, and how he's like talking to them, and like he's like he knows these dogs, and this actually kind of ties to what he said to Gor Koresh earlier in the episode. He says, I've spent much time on Tatooine. I've never seen a Mando. So this kind of ties into that, and it's like, okay, so apparently Mando knows Tusken dogs as well. Like, you obviously saw that he can communicate with Tuskens, but to see him on this level, like, of intimacy with them is like, whoa, like this, we've never really seen this before in Star Wars.
Yeah.
And before that, I forgot that we have the scene, and I wrote it down, of Cobb using the rocket launcher. Which was pretty cool, because it brings an homage to that toy that is such a big Boba Fett collector item. So I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, then we see Mando talking to the Tusken Raiders, and then we have like the whole scene of they're like in a campfire talking, which I wrote down that this was like a clear Dave Filoni moment, because we got another side of Tusken Raiders. We get like they humanized Tusken Raiders in this episode, because we always see them as this like
ruthless bad guys.
That they don't talk and they don't care about anybody. But then we see them here like communicating and kind of like helping out. So which is the same thing that Dave Filoni does with everything. Even he did it with clones.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool.
And the same thing with the dogs. Like when we first see the dogs, they're like growling at them. It's bad. It's scary. And then they're like just giant puppies, just like wiggling their tails, like, and it was so cute. And I want one.
I realized it right when I saw them. I knew right away that they were. I immediately thought of Attack of the Clones. Those dogs that we seen that create the epic scene. And yeah, it was really cool to see them fleshed out a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But then they come up with a plan, and then they use the villagers and kind of go back to see the dragon thingy.
But with the Tuskens and the humans talking, like, this is like really the first time I think we've seen in canon. I know
a civil interaction.
Yeah, some type of interaction between like humans and Tusken Raiders. I mean, the whole reason why they're called Tusken Raiders is because there was a Fort Tusken on Tatooine that I think it was like one of the first earliest human settlements. And you know, just the fact that you call them Tusken Raiders is like it's a derogative term. Even some people's way worse, but you know, my point is it was cool to see some type of interaction, like some type of working together to defeat a bigger problem.
Mm-hmm.
And with Mando, like kind of mediating it, like it's just awesome body acting too from him. From I don't know if it's Pedro Pascal or the doubles, but like yeah, he was so expressive, and even just talking with your hands, just in itself it can be a very expressive thing. And it was really neat, just really cool to see this.
Yeah.
No, it's really cool. That's why I'm saying they humanize the Tusken Raiders and kind of. I know that for Pascal, he does everything except some of the fighting because he even likes doing some other stuff. So that's really good acting again, like you said, because I love sign language. I think it's such a beautiful language, and this is not ASL because I know a little bit, but it's cool that it also like they have their own thing. So yeah.
Yeah, they talk and they do hand movements, which is even more unique, or more creative. I should say.
Yeah.
You know, and like I swear I'm gonna learn some of those. Those were cool. Like, how do we kill it? I'm like, I'm gonna learn that.
Yeah. No, that was awesome.
Oh, did you guys see the massive wanting to eat Baby Yoda? That thing was looking at him like, I can't wait.
Yeah. But yeah, then we see like the dragon in full action because which is funny because you have first the child kind of being scared, like, oh, like that thing is like growling, growling, whatever. And then it comes out and it doesn't eat the bantha, which they did such a beautiful job with banthas on this episode.
Yes.
Like, I thought like they look more real than other things, like, you know.
Oh man, this episode was not kind to banthas, man.
I felt really bad for them. I was like, my only complaint about the banthas, and this is super, super nitpicky, is that I kind of wish that their horns didn't all look exactly the same. Because I feel like in real life they would look, you know, like have different looks to them. But I'm like, that's super nitpicky. But I did notice that when they were all walking in a line, like they all had the exact same curl, the exact same pattern. I was like,
but it could be that because they don't cut it or anything, that they all grow so beautifully.
Yeah, I love them so much.
Speaking of bantha hygiene, apparently brushing bantha's teeth is a thing now.
I know, I saw that. I'm like, that guy's brushing his teeth. That was so funny.
I love them. I was happy actually when it came out and it didn't eat the bantha, it ate the raider. I was like,
oh my god,
good, leave the bantha alone.
I would have never thought I would see a Tusken Raider just booking it full clip, just like that was like, to me, hilarious. It was just like oh, that was so cool to see.
That was funny. But then we see them planning, and it's kind of pretty cool that they use the chocolate chips. I don't know, that's what they do.
That's like, to me, I was like, chocolate chips? I thought the same thing.
It's like, no more. And then kind of going back to like the town and convincing them. Oh, Westerns like, oh, they like they're trying to kill us and blah blah blah.
Yeah, keeping up with the Western motif, right? Like, I feel like I've seen this before. It kind of is almost like I thought about Blazing Saddles, where like the governor's like men are trying to take over this town, and then they all have to kind of come together, like, look, what are we gonna do? Like this and that. And it was cool. One thing that it didn't bother me too much before, but it kind of stood out to me a little bit here, whereas the Weequay has this kind of like, like this country kind of like, basic, accent. It's like, I kind of wish we would have saw more Huttese in this episode. Like, I feel like it kind of took me out of character seeing a Weequay speaking like perfectly like a regular human. I would have wanted him to be like Huttese, like speak Huttese, like we're on Tatooine, like, I don't know, a little Huttese would have been nice.
Maybe he's a civilized one, like he's more not Hondo's people, or like even, I don't know. I see what you mean. I get it.
Yeah, it kind of threw me off. I mean, yeah, it was needed. Like he was like voicing the concerns of the people, like, hey, yeah, we know, they're dangerous and all this stuff, and but it didn't take me too much out of it. Just again nitpicking. This wasn't a perfect episode, but it was really close. So those are just a couple things that I was just like,
Yeah. But yeah, seeing again Mando kind of taking leadership, and then them all working together and getting the explosives and everything, and now working with Tuskens, and they're always like, oh no, these people. But I mean, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I liked it. I felt bad for the raider who dropped the thingy, because like it was an accident. And then, like, they blew, I understand, but, like, they blew up at him, and I was like, I get it. I get you, Raiders. I understand.
It's like I feel like it was, like, definitely, like, a racism, like, thing in it, like, some type of theme. Like, people that you've always seen as the enemy, not working with them, like, tensions will be high. But, we also obviously see that it pays off at the end, and Cobb kind of sticking up, hey, like, it was an accident. And you can kind of see how, he's the leader of Mos Pelgo, and, how this is how, he showcasing Vance's leadership skills, and it's really cool. I did like, you were actually mentioning, Julie, when the Banthas were all coming in, did you guys all notice that they were all in a single file line, to hide their numbers? That particular shot was awesome. Like the cinematography with this episode was awesome. I also do want to mention the music. Ludwig killed it with this episode's music. Awesome music. I feel like the scene where Cobb and Din are like riding together. I don't know where they were writing, but what that music that was behind them like was awesome. It was like it took like a classic. I feel like it was classic Star Wars, but then it like made almost like a little bit of a electronic-y, like hip hop. Like I've been loving this new music that's been coming out. And just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool because I heard that he finished. I don't know if for the whole season, but. I know some of the episodes, or if not the whole season, he had to work on them during the quarantine. So coming up with like different sounds and stuff, like in only his room or in his house. He's such a mastermind. Like it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, the music in the show is amazing. It fits the tone so well that like sometimes music can take you out of things when you're watching stuff. This puts me right into it, and I love it. Yeah, it's totally space western, like always.
With a little bit of like a little bit of dubstep or something. It's like
a little punch.
A little edge. That was awesome. But anyways, moving on with the plot.
We see the dragon kind of showing off and being like, "Oh, you think your plan worked?" No, which I love that creature. Yeah. I'm a sucker for dragons, so I was like, "Ooh, I gotta add another dragon." And then He also throwing up spit that was acid.
Oh,
and,
yeah,
that was
awesome.
incredible. It was so golden,
So awesome.
like in the pool. Plus, then we see they're not at moments. It kind of reminded me of Rogue One when they were like all together. I know it's also kind of like the same, not the same, but similar clothing with some of the people.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it brought me a little bit back to Rogue One. But it was cool for me to see kind of Mando and Cobb like launching their oh my god,
The jetpacks?
their jetpacks. I kind of like Mando did it first and then Cobb, and it's like, oh, he knows, he's been around, he's used his armor at full capacity.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty cool.
For a split second, I thought Baby Yoda was gonna do some force jump and like something like.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just me projecting, but I was waiting for that.
I think it would have been too obvious if it would have been the
Yeah.
child kind of like taking over and just doing everything. So I'm glad that it was like a team effort at first, and then we see that nothing is working. So the Mando was like, "Here, Cobb, do this. Remember to take care of the child," and then does that move, which is the same move that Han did to Boba Fett with his jetpack that makes it like go flying up in the air. I thought that was pretty cool. And he takes the Bantha as part of the plan and gets eaten.
Yeah.
Bantha bomb.
Yeah.
It's a thing now.
But also all of that plan of him getting eaten and stuff kind of explains how Boba survived.
That's true. Actually, I didn't think about that too. He used his awesome rifle, his disintegration rifle thing, to like scare it, I guess, to make him vomit him.
Yeah, I think it's because he has a taser, like a taser electrical thing. His weapon.
Yeah. So maybe there's different settings and stuff or whatever. But yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, I didn't think about that. How it can. There's a lot of like parallel to Boba in this. Where it's like, it didn't work then, but it's working now.
I also wanted to mention about the Sarlacc Pit in general. Like, it's cool that we've only seen a Sarlacc Pit facing like upwards, which people were falling into, but this one faces outwards. So like, I wonder how it how it got its prey always, you know? Like if it just like grab people walking by with its weird little tentacle things, or how it works.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because when Vance says, there's no such thing as an empty Sarlacc Pit. I think that this is the same Sarlacc Pit from the Pit of Carcoon or whatever. I mean, it definitely looks different. But I think there was a reason why they said it. I feel like it connected to Boba in that way.
Yeah.
Maybe the Pit of Carcoon is just like on the other side, and maybe we just didn't see it from this angle.
Yeah, I was thinking the same, because it can't be so far. If all of this is happening, you have Boba Fett's armor and plus the finale. Right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the whole sequence was really awesome. I feel like it was a lot of like borrowing from a lot of different genres. Like I feel like it was a Western, and then it was like a war, like more of like maybe like a medieval type of war with the Batistas, and just like everybody kind of coming together and like setting up a trap. It was really cool to see kind of all this, like it worked. It was really, really cool sequence. And the Great Dragon itself, like just the fact that we saw it and like it's all its glory. Like I don't think we've ever really seen it. And I know you guys mentioned like the other creatures and rebels and stuff like that, but like the fact that we saw it like so fleshed out I was just like, oh my god, I want to create plushie now.
Yeah, I know. And then you see it completely gushing open, which was pretty cool, because we don't really get to see that, and they're like digging to get their banthas, and then they find a beautiful rounded pearl.
Great pearl. Yeah.
At first I was worried because I thought it was like a bantha egg. I was like, this is either an egg or a pearl, and I was like, if this is an egg, is this like a throwback? Yeah, first we're in trouble, and then is this like a throwback to the first season, like episode 1 or 2, when they get the furry egg from that creature? I was like,
Suka.
yeah. But I like the
Those are
pearls. It was
Jawas.
so shiny.
Yeah, no, it was cool. So
I
then
liked it right away, particularly with the dragon. I geeked out because when they were opening it up and they were going to see all the ribs and shit and stuff, I was like, oh, I was in back of my head. I'm like, I really hope they find a crepe pearl. I really hope they find a crepe pearl. And sure enough, when I was like, yeah. And crepe pearls can also be used as like to substitute kyber crystals and legends. I believe it was Asherod Het who had a Rancor tooth lightsaber with a crepe pearl as the crystal, and it comes out. I think it comes out as 2 colors. So it comes out. I think Asherod Head's was green and blue because of the pearl. Yeah, that it was strong enough to like sustain the energy of a lightsaber, and so that's why I was like, yeah,
Yeah, the saber I made in Galaxy's Edge has the Rancor tooth at the bottom.
Yeah,
nice.
I love
No,
it.
I mean that it was all pretty cool, and then we see Mando taking something and putting it on top of his scooter. It looked like it was all full of blood. I didn't know exactly what it was.
I thought I was also a little bit confused as to what that was. Like, would it be like like maybe a heart? Would it be like the heart? But heart.
I thought it was just bigger. Like a slab of meat, like to make. I know that sounds kind of weird, but like I just assumed it was like meat to like cook for later.
Okay.
It could be that, because then you put it like cover it to kind of like make sure that it wasn't.
Yeah, that too. Yeah,
maybe I was just like overthinking it.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe I was just overthinking it, and maybe it was just simple as what Julie's saying. Hey, just some meat, one for the road.
Yeah, because you see the child kind of also like touching, like, I want to eat you.
Yeah.
So it could be, and then you see Cobb kind of like giving in like his part of the deal, which was the Boba Fett armor,
right?
Which was pretty cool. It was nice of him as well to kind of like
give it willingly.
Yeah.
Yeah, deal's a deal. You helped me kill the dragon, and it's deal. It's yours.
Yeah.
I like how he says it. Tell your people I didn't break that.
Yeah. I love that.
That was cool, and hope to see you again, which we know he will probably show up again soon.
I wouldn't be mad if it's just a one-off, to be honest.
True.
I would not be mad. Like the way this episode was done, if I never see Cobb Vanth again, I would be happy. Just how it's just all came together so well, and the writing and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be kind of cool, yeah. But the thing about Cobb Vanth is the armor. The armor is what makes him appealing, because he's the guy that found Boba Fett's armor. He has Boba Fett's armor. So once you remove that, it's like,
yeah.
I feel like in the whole like Western sense of the show, like Boba is making friends with people each stop along the way. And so like we're seeing like, we saw, for example, the lady at the beginning of the episode. I forgot her name.
Mando?
Okay.
Yeah, so like we saw her already, and now she's back. Then like obviously we're gonna see his buddies from last season. Like every step of the way he's like making friends, and they're helping him. And like the Mando was such a loner before that like this is kind of cool to see him making these connections throughout the galaxy for the child.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, which ties into the whole him growing and stuff.
Yeah,
so,
the character.
Yeah, like I said, it definitely fits. Obviously, you need friends. Friends help you out and stuff. So as we've seen in the first season.
Friends are also so important in the Star Wars universe.
Exactly. Yeah, they don't do anything by themselves. So I think that's very standard in the whole Star Wars
Look, Anakin tried to do things by himself, and he became Darth Vader. That's all I'm gonna say.
But was it a bad thing? No, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna get into it.
That's a whole separate conversation.
But then it's cool because we see Mando riding off, and I love this scene.
Yeah,
because
me too.
It was so slow to show us the binary sons, and I was so for it because I was
so happy.
It was the one, and I was like telling Gian, I was like, "Where's the other one? They're in Tatooine." And then it was like the other one, and they took their time because after that they just showed us the main guy, which was Boba Fett himself.
Boba Fett. Tamora Morrison reprising his role as Boba Fett.
Well,
Yeah.
not his role, but
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
not
guess. Yeah,
his
go ahead if you want to
son's
split
role?
hairs. Yeah.
He's his dad, but he's his
It's
son
kind of
right now.
confusing, you know.
What happened to Daniel Logan? We never know. But I think he fits the mold completely. Like
Right.
I liked how he looked. I like that he looked so rogue and it
He's
looked
scarred.
like
His face is all
has
scarred.
his
It
face is scarred.
doesn't look like his eyebrows are even there.
He's missing all hair. Maybe he got shot by that same acid, and that's why he's missing all his hair.
The Krayt Dragon acid?
Yeah, maybe that doesn't make sense. Now
Yeah,
that I think
that's a
about
little
it.
bit of a stretch. I would think it would be the Sarlacc.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously Boba's back, baby, and yeah, I'm really curious now. I mean, they left it so open. Now it's like not open. I mean, obviously they answered the big question of who is Boba back, and Boba's back, but it's like now answered one question, and there's just so many more. Like, what's gonna happen? You know, is Boba gonna hunt the Mando? Is there gonna be some type of accord like there was with Cobb? But yeah, it's gonna be.
Ah,
Baby.
Yeah, you guys saw it. Come on, baby.
We're so
They already saw
distracted.
you.
Yay!
Yeah.
Oh,
you
no.
guys
Hi.
So
Oh
this is
my
my
God.
youngling.
He's so cute and
This
big.
is my youngling, the baby Reese.
Oh,
Say hello.
so
Say
cute. He looks like
hello.
both of you.
Yeah, well, that's everybody will say that he looks like her, but I
But
think
I
he has
see
my
you.
eyes.
Yeah.
He definitely has my eyes.
He had hiccups.
Yeah, little
Aw.
hiccups. Yeah. So
So precious.
yeah, so anyways, speaking about daddies and their kids, Star Wars universe. But yeah, no, it's gonna be awesome. I can't wait to see now what's gonna happen. Is Boba gonna attack Mando, or are they gonna come up with some type of truce like Cobb Vanth did? It's gonna be very interesting because this is almost like old era Mandalorian versus new era Mandalorian. We're gonna see the clash of Mandalorians in more ways than one, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited, man. Boba's back, baby.
No, it's gonna be the exciting.
Yeah, and to just touch on it further, like I love what Anna was saying about the slow pace binary sunset to him, because I thought they were just gonna end it at the sunset, and then it kept panning, and I was like, oh dang, here he is.
No, and he looks so cool. He definitely has some Tusken Raider armor, which
he has a gaffy stick.
Yeah, which that we'll see. I really hope it also reminded me of like that would be like kind of how Rex would look like, but with hair and kind of not the scars, which I was totally okay with. So no, I'm excited. I don't know where we go from here. Like there's so much that could be shown in the next episodes, and that's what I like. I don't like that an episode shows you exactly where it's going next.
Yeah.
Because I just want them to blow my mind over and over and over again.
Yeah,
so
hard to know what's next.
What if it blows our mind by actually being Rex and not Boba at all?
No, but he would have hair and no scar. Because he was in the Battle of Endor and all the stuff. So.
Didn't he lose his hair though? Because he was bald in Clone Wars, wasn't he?
No, in Rebels he had a mustache.
Rebels, that's what I meant. Rebels,
I mean,
yeah.
that's what I meant with like the hair.
Okay.
Like, yeah, he had shaved off. But
yeah, I
mean,
definitely
like,
think it's Boba.
hair.
I just think that would be a really funny and crazy twist if it just
no,
was
because
like, just kidding, it's not Boba.
Oh, you would piss off the fandom so much, so hard.
No, and he's part of the rebellion, so it
just
wouldn't be like a rogue. But yeah, I'm excited, guys. So
Me too.
we have so much to look forward to, and I'm happy to be able to chat with you guys again. And yeah, I think that wraps up the episode. So if you guys want to go ahead and tell everybody where to find you.
I'm Infinity Jules on pretty much every platform. You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all the good things.
And you, Alexis?
You can find me on Instagram, Lex_Adames, ADAMES. I usually post all my Star Wars stuff on there, lightsabers and costumes and all that good stuff. So yeah, give me a follow and let's talk Star Wars.
Yay! And you guys can find me at La Geeky Life on Instagram. And you can find our Roundtable Podracers on Facebook. And yeah, let us know what you guys think of the episode. And let's see what comes up next Friday.
Ooh, I'm so excited.
See you guys next time.
May the Force be with you always.